26. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here's my good friend, Barry Paquin. Papick, sorry. And it's an honor and privilege to have you on my talk show.
It's good to be here. How you doing, Keith?
Not bad. How's everything going with yourself?
Very busy. Long time no talk to. Since I've talked to you last, I've been doing a radio show, as you know, and that's been a lot of fun, the Inside Noise, and also been doing a TV pilot for NBC, and we're waiting to see if that gets picked up, and just keeping busy.
That's pretty cool. What can you tell me about your talk show?
The talk show is great. I do it with a girl named Chrissy Carpenter. People can listen to it at www.theinsidenoise.com. We broadcast once a week, and it's basically, a perverse and funny look at the entertainment industry. We always have a guest on, and, that's always interesting, a guest from the industry. And then Chrissy and I will just go over the topics of the week.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Chrissy's great. People just fall in love with her. She's just the sweetest thing. And I am the comic relief.
All right, so like I said, it's just a normal conversation. You can ask me anything you want. And so, for most people who don't remember the last interview, so let's just start off with the basics, and then we get to the politics, and you can answer the ones you want, pass on the ones you don't want to answer.
I'm an open book.
So what can you tell me about yourself?
Born in Jersey City, New Jersey. Raised there. Great childhood. Went to college, left Jersey City to go to college at George Washington University in D.C. Studied English and political science. And then went to New York and became an actor. So sort of left my degrees behind and started studying with Lee Strasberg, and I've been an actor ever since. I trained for a long time with Lee Strasberg, Elaine Aiken, Uta Hagen, and Susan Batson. And then I went off to do some work. I was on a TV show called Swans Crossing for 65 episodes. Did some movies. Some of the more famous ones are Simone with Al Pacino and Private Parts with Howard Stern. And then moved out to Los Angeles and, been doing some TV and keeping busy.
Oh, that's good. And for people who don't remember or didn't know, me and you were working on a demo project.
That's right.
Yeah, and unfortunately it fell through, but I obviously got free money out of it.
Well, and I worked for the money, but yes, nothing's ever free, believe me, Keith.
I know. But unfortunately, I couldn't use most of the skits because, it's copyrighted, and I tried changing the format and didn't really make a difference, so... That's
a drag.
But I appreciate you taking the time to help me. It means a lot.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And as you know, I'm also an acting coach. And I coach on set for people like Gus VanSant, and I coach a lot of actors. And I teach an acting class. So, always busy.
That's pretty cool. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I can tell you that, I have some great actors. My class is really a group of professional actors, most of whom are working. It's very eclectic. It goes from my youngest is 15 and my oldest is 83. And, I have people like Gareth Williams in class who, was the father in Dawson's Creek and is incredibly talented. Just there working out his instrument. Kirk Taylor, who was in Full Metal Jacket, and Darrin Henson, who was in Stomp the Yard. Alison Sudell, who is a rock star. She had a band called A Fine Frenzy. and now she's acting, and she just booked her second series. So it's a real eclectic group and real talented and fun to work with. And also do a lot of private coaching. A lot of people who come to my my apartment to work. I have a Sports Illustrated model. I have a young Russian girl who's getting ready to go do a movie in Europe. So, it's just real busy.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. It's what I love to do. When I'm not acting, I love to teach acting or talk acting or be with actors. So I'm blessed.
Well, for a perfect example, would you be interested in giving us some more information for people who would want to work with you? How does one person go about that?
Absolutely. They could go to my Facebook page, which is the BP Acting Studios. They can call my work phone, which is 818-590-3999, and get more information. I work out of Los Angeles and also on Skype. And also, I'm getting ready with Darrin Dewitt Henson to do a lecture series. We're going to be traveling around the country lecturing about acting. So we're looking forward to that. That starts in May. And we're going to start in Ohio. Things are, are busy. And, if someone in Nebraska wants to coach on something, all they have to do is call me and we can set up a Skype session.
That's pretty cool. How much do you usually charge?
It's $150 an hour for coaching, $260 a month for classes. I teach one class a week, which is on Monday nights in Los Angeles. And, it's well worth the money. And I try to keep it cheap so everybody can afford it.
Do you do like a payment plan, or how do you do it?
No, straight up cash. On the classes, it's just $260 before the month starts, and on the coaching, I get paid by check or credit card or cash before the coaching, or PayPal if it's somebody on Skype.
All right. What about, recently in the news, a lot of people are talking about WrestleMania. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan.
I've never been a big wrestling fan. I was watching baseball, basketball, and football when I was young, when everybody else was watching wrestling.
A lot of people this past weekend was WrestleMania 30, and it's this big thing. It's been around for 30 years.
Are you a wrestling fan?
Yes, I've been a wrestling fan since I was 4 years old.
Wow. Have you been to a live wrestling match?
I've been to WWF The High Gear Tour in 95. I've been to Monday Night Raw in 98. And those are the only two I've been so far.
Was it exciting?
It was. The fireworks in 98 were freaking ridiculous. The whole building was shaking.
Where do you live?
New York.
Oh, what part?
I'm near West Point.
Oh, it's beautiful up there.
You ever been there?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be in White Plains, not too far from you, in a couple weeks for my nephew's wedding.
Yeah, that's funny. My brother's getting married this Sunday.
Oh, really? My nephew's getting married April 26th, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
last summer, I was lucky enough to go away with the whole family, but him and his fiance, and we had a great time. She's a great girl, so we're all real excited.
Well, if you're ever in the area, we should meet up and hang out.
Absolutely, kick it back in West Point.
The reason I mentioned WrestleMania is, The Undertaker had this winning streak. I haven't seen it in the New York papers, but I've seen pictures of it in LA Times in California, so you may have a better idea if you saw it. It was in the paper about the Undertaker's losing streak. This is a big deal. He had 21 victories and he lost.
I had no clue. When it comes to WrestleMania, I couldn't tell you the Undertaker from the Angel. I mean, it's all just one big blur to me.
And the reason I bring it up is because, they're like, oh, there's nothing that's got to top Undertaker losing. And this past Monday, we saw the last appearance of the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, didn't he, croak or something?
Yep. Well, I can get to that in a couple minutes. He came out, he gave this big speech about thanking the fans and the Warrior lasting forever. The next day, he drops dead of a heart attack.
No, really?
I wasn't that shocked in my life since I heard what happened to Chris Benoit.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
He was, when we saw him, he was about late 50s, 54 or something. He looked healthy. He looked to be in great shape. And the next thing you know, he's not here anymore. So it's kind of like, what the fuck?
What do you think about death? It's a little weird, isn't it?
Oh, that's funny to mention that. That's one of my topics I was going to get to. About death, I think there's life after death. I don't think you just die and that's it. I think there's something more to it. I
hope so.
Yeah, me too. I just think and feel that there's a journey. You're here now. But, if you watch Cosmos, they tell you, just because you die in this part of the universe, your energy will go to somewhere else, and you can be reborn in somewhere else in another part of time.
I hope that's true. Who knows? None of us really know. But this does seem like a short time, So I hope that's true. I mean, we've had a lot of strange death this week, if you think about it. Mickey Rooney, of course, passed away, and what was he, 93? So that was great. And the young lady in England, Peaches, her father's a rock star. She passed away, and she was only 25, which is just horrendous. Death's a strange thing. It's not something I've ever really come to terms with.
Well, a lot of people, I'm trying to find words for it. A lot of people are kind of sketchy about this, but I'm going to ask you. It's uncensored. You can say whatever you want. You can curse if you want. And do you believe in the devil? Or do you believe in God?
No, I mean, I think there's a bit of the angel and a bit of the devil in all of us. And, the reason that we have mores and morals in this world is to keep that away. But do I believe that there's a devil that, tries to, get us onto his side and, and does bad things in this world? No, I don't believe in that.
Well, it's true. But I think, for the most part, in my case, I do believe in the devil. I do believe in God. Because it's yin and yang, there has to be a balance. Good, bad, up, down, left, right. It just has to be a balance in the universe.
God is something that I fight with myself about all the time. And I won't say that I believe in God, but I will say is I hope there's a God. And if there is a God, I do believe that he's or she is a benevolent God. One who loves and cares rather than one that punishes.
That's true. And if you watch, I don't know if I mentioned this before, did you ever watch the TV show Cosmos?
I watched the first one, and I have the others on TiVo, so I'm looking forward to sitting back and watching them.
And they mentioned the universe being this big place, and they don't think God's gotta stay in one spot and just, focus on that one area. He just constantly, he or she moves around to these different areas. And not to sound religious or anything, or people doing a click button, but I'm not saying, hey, it's your opinion, it's my opinion. But I think there's more to it than that. I think God created everything, and supposedly there's a plan for everything. But I don't one thing that gets me annoyed is why does God keep the good? He takes the good ones, but he leaves us all the fucked up ones.
But I also think if there's a God, there's also free will. And, if God is looking over everything, which, like I said, I hope that's true, there's also free will. And we can't turn ourselves over to God. We have to, take control of ourselves and make sure what we do is righteous and moral and humane. I think too many people in this world do things that are not humane. And some people do these things that are not humane in the name of God. And I believe that that if there is a God, that He would want us to be righteous and moral and humane.
No, I agree. There's no. Do you mean that just as one human to another, or you mean like a human killing an animal?
I think one human to another. I don't think that humans should kill animals either, unless, listen, if you're going to kill something and eat it, then fine. I mean, I'm not a big hunter. I'm certainly not a big fisher, but I'm also not a vegetarian. So, I don't want to be hypocritical. But if you're going to kill something, do it because there's a purpose, whether it be food or warmth or, rather than, just doing it arbitrarily. I don't believe in arbitrary hunting.
I would give you a perfect example, there's... Well, I can't try to think on the negatives, but for the positives, not sound sick or anything, but if a positive, my dog may had a pipe. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. This past January, I had to put my dog down.
I'm sorry to hear that. My sister just put her dog down. It's very sad.
He was about 16, and he was, I think, 16 or 19. He was up there, and he had a stroke a year ago, and before we were going to lose him, but for the whole year, he just kept walking into a circle. And it's like, oh, well, if he could just pass away, that's what I'm doing in his sleep. Well, I don't want to make the decision. Just, if there's a God, just make it quick and painless.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a week before my birthday, 2 weeks before my birthday, I had to bring him into the vet, and we had to make a decision. He came back one day, and there's blood over the floor. And he's like, and he's not walking anymore. He's just sitting there in pain. Is it now the good time to put him down, or I still debate to myself to this point?
My opinion is this: if you don't put a dog down at that point, you're saving him for yourself, not for him. His quality of life is already terrible. He's in pain. So the best thing for him, is to be put to rest where he's more comfortable. The best thing for us is we want to hold on to this love. So in that situation, I think what we really have to do is think about them rather than think about ourselves.
That's true. And when I was there thinking the decision, I was thinking about, it's easier to say, okay, get it over with. But at the same time, am I rushing it? Will he get better over time, or will he, eventually get better? But I still feel a little restless with the decision. Did I make the right choice or everything?
I'm sure you did. You're a nice guy. I'm sure you did what was best for him.
All right, I appreciate that, and not to sound morbid on this subject.
Yeah.
Our next subject I want to talk to you about is gun control.
Okay.
And I want to know, do you think it's okay for people who are convicts or rapists or someone who kills people and this is kind of like two questions in one. But
okay, I'm with you.
The first one is the people who take a life and they ask to be repented and they do it again. Do you think they should have the opportunity to buy a firearm, or it's like those people should be on a list of
I
not.
don't think anybody should have an opportunity to buy a firearm. But that being said, I'm also realistic, and I think that there has to be stricter gun control laws. And I think the gun control laws, have to call for a 2-week waiting period and a review. And no, I don't think. I think if you're a convict, you've lost your right to bear arms. I think if you're mentally ill, you shouldn't be permitted to bear arms because of the danger to yourself and to the people around you. So, do I believe in gun control? Absolutely. Do I believe there are too many guns in this world? Absolutely. Do I think that the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, was written as people interpret it now? No, I don't. I believe that that the Second Amendment was written in a world that was much different than the world is today. So I'm not anti-Constitution. I believe in the word of the Constitution, and I believe in the heart of the Constitution, and not the specifics of the Constitution. So absolutely, I believe in gun control, and I believe that we should keep the guns out of as many people's hands as possible.
That's funny. We are on the same wavelength. I was been saying for the past couple interviews, if you're handicapped, mentally disturbed, or just fucked up, basically, like I said, it's uncensored. You can say whatever you want. But someone who's just like mentally disturbed or not aware, a rapist, a criminal, those people, bottom line, no ifs, no buts, no second chances. Those people are on a list. That's it. No guns for you. And
I agree. You see these kids, like the kid in Connecticut who shot up the middle school and the elementary school in Connecticut. He was a kid who was going to once a week going and practicing shooting at the shooting range with his mother, and he was mentally ill. He had problems. And it was a time bomb waiting to happen, other people say, well, if other people were allowed to carry guns, it wouldn't have gotten that bad. Well, I don't believe that's true. I think if other people were able to carry guns, it would have been one mass. It would have been much worse than it was. So I believe that there's certain things that I really believe. I believe in gun control. I believe that Florida's Florida has some laws that need to be changed. And I think that we as a humane society need to start thinking of not how we could kill people, but how we could keep people safe.
No, I agree. And he gets the whole big speech. It's my Second Amendment, this and that. And, the bottom line is what you were saying. It was written in the 18th century or maybe the 17th century, and it was a different time. It was a different period. We don't have problems like we do now then, so most of the shit that's happening now would never ever have happened back then. And it's like, if you look at it like this, if you want a Second Amendment so bad, then follow it right. You gotta have your own mustick, you have your boomstick or whatever you want to call it, and you're gonna do exactly what they had back in the 17th century. No automatics.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Times have changed. And, we can't believe that the Constitution can't change with the times. And I think it's important to to protect our society, and our society isn't protected by believing the Second Amendment as it's written. I think too often we just don't believe in the heart of the law rather than the written word.
No, I agree. And while we're on this whole opinion side, do you think killing in self-defense it's okay? I say, for most of my interviews, the only killing in self-defense is okay. You can kill in self-defense. You're protecting yourself, protecting your family in a life or death situation. And in that time, if you're back against the wall and you have to do something to protect yourself, then I think it's okay. Now,
yeah, but I also think that too many people use that, as a defense when they were the aggressor. And certainly the one case that really sticks out in our minds is the Trayvon Martin case, where, only in Florida would that man have been found not guilty. I think that, if there's any way to solve something in a nonviolent way, then anybody who solves anything in a violent way should be prosecuted.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, wrapping up to the next subject is, do you have any subjects you would like to talk about, or?
I'm with you. You throw them at me, and I'll knock them out of the park.
All right, let's go back a couple of months now. What's the George Washington Bridge, or I think the Tappan Zee Bridge, was the whole Chris Christie scandal. Where do you feel about that? Where do you stand on that?
I think Chris Christie's a pig. And I think that, I was involved in New Jersey politics for a long time. I worked in Jersey City. I worked for a congressman. And, and I know what goes on behind closed doors. And, so I say to Chris Christie, listen, I understand that this is really damaging to your political career and really damaging to your hopes for presidency, which are ridiculous and never going to happen anyway. So come clean. Be honest with the people of New Jersey. I'm a person of New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey. Be honest with the people of New Jersey. And, it's time, to take a step back and really reevaluate, who you are and, and how you can help your constituency. I thought he was great during the whole, Sandy crisis, Hurricane Sandy. But one crisis does not make a president. Just as we saw with Giuliani and Bush during 9/11, one crisis does not make a mayor or a president. If Chris Christie was honest to himself and honest to his constituents, then maybe we could believe in him a little bit more.
No, it's funny, and then there's also stories about him flying over the bridge in a helicopter and looking at the traffic, and it's like, what the hell is with that shit?
I agree.
And you mentioned a good part, I was going to mention, and it's a good thing you brought it up. How were you affected during Hurricane Sandy?
Well, fortunately I was out here, but my sister lost electricity for 8 days during Sandy, or 14 days. Ultimately, they tried to rough it out for the first 4 or 5 days, and then they had to move into a hotel. So it was hard for them. The town that I grew, I grew up in Jersey City, but I had a small summer house in Belmar, New Jersey, and Belmar, New Jersey was flattened. The boardwalk in Belmar, which we loved when we were kids, we walked the boardwalk every night, was torn off and destroyed. I grew up on the Jersey Shore, so it hurt me that, to see what happened and the destruction that happened on the Jersey Shore. But it also made me proud how Jerseyans, stood up, came together, and rebuilt. And you look at Jersey now, and you see how, how tough and, how strong and resilient people from New Jersey are. I've always said people from New Jersey are the coolest people in the world. And, I say that because I'm from Jersey, but I also say that because Jersey people are down to earth. They'll tell you how they feel, and they'll stick together, and obviously they'll rebuild.
Yeah, it's funny, but, even before Hurricane Sandy, a lot of people got behind Chris Christie, saying he's an asshole, he's this and that. But after Sandy happened, he was like, oh, this guy would be a great president. He really turned himself around. And now...
I think if anything, PR people said that. No real people said that. I mean, the fact is Chris Christie would be the last president. And Chris Christie, is an inflexible, an inflexible politician. And he's getting exactly what he deserved, and he's getting what would have come to him at some point anyway, and that's, we find out that Chris Christie isn't everything that everybody thought he was.
That's true. Now, you said you worked in politics. Do you believe in those cover-ups, those conspiracy theories? Where do you stand on that?
Well, it's funny because, like I said, I'm an acting coach, and I've coached guys like Dick Gregory, and, I love Dick. He's 80 years old now. And, he's a conspiracy theorist, and I've listened to a lot of his conspiracies, some of which I believe, some of which I don't. I always figure that one day I'm going to die, and God is going to say to me, wow, everything that Dick Gregory told you was true. But, that being said, I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist. I believe there's a lot of things that happen politically behind the scenes that we don't know about. I think that the government is run in a much quieter way than we know about. But that being said, I still think that this is probably the most democratic society in the world. And, when push comes to shove, I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist believer.
All right. Well, wrapping up the talk show, do you have any, like I said, this is your time too, do you have anything you want to talk about or promote?
A couple things, I hope that the Mason Twins is wrapping up, and they're doing some post-editing now, and I hope everybody will watch that, and, why don't you write to NBC and tell them you want to see the Mason Twins. It's going to be a funny show. It's my first half-hour comedy. I've done a lot of comic films, and I've done a lot of dramatic television shows. So this is a bit of a difference for me, which I'm excited about. Great cast, and I think it's going to be exciting. So everybody look out for the Mason Twins. Also, go over to www.theinsidenoise.com and listen to the radio show. You could listen to all of our past shows. We have them archived on the website, and they're funny and perverse and compelling. We talk about everything that happened that week, and we have interviews with some incredible people. Eugenia Kuzmina, who's a actress and comedian model. Erica Rhodes, who's on the Prairie Home Companion. We have just some really, really interesting people, and we have a couple comedy skits on there that are fun and exciting and creative. So, go over there, listen to the Inside Noise. Drop a line on our website telling me how much you liked it or how much you hate me. Either way, and just go out and see my movies. Private Parts, Simone, amongst many, many others. Lake Effects is going to be on the Hallmark Channel soon. It's a movie I did with Jane Seymour. So tune into Lake Effects. And, go on to theinsidenoise.com and tell me how cute I am.